I'm more than a rare exception, you can't compare him. I'm fly as Tuskegee Airman. My patience is as thin as her pins. You find a sucker cat that's talking smack and I'll just dare him. Come at me sideways attacking, I'm pushing back.
Welcome to 3 Count Commentaries. This is your boy MagMongoSlade. Today we're going to talk about Ryan Nemeth and his accusations of abuse and harassment at the hands of one CM Punk. This article was dropped by Fightful. Fightful put it behind a paywall. Bodyslam.net is kind enough to aggregate and give us the details of the timeline of events, which we're going to go through, and then we're going to critique it. Because to me, it is very, very suspicious. But let's go through this thing. Let's go through it first, and then we'll critique it. The timeline of events, according to Ryan Nemeth. August 16th, 2023. Nemeth expresses concerns to AEW's legal representative, Megha Parekh, about potential targeting by Punk. June 21st, 2023, Punk allegedly threatens Nemeth in an AEW locker room. Nemeth receives support from Tony Schiavone, Megha Parekh, and the Young Bucks. July 17th, 2023, Nemeth voices his frustration over AEW's lack of response to the June 21st incident, fearing he would be, quote, silently fired. Parekh assures him that speaking up will not affect his job. August the 12th, 2023, after a 2-month absence from AEW programming, Nemeth is booked for a show, but is then asked to leave at Punk's behest. August 16th, 2023, Nemeth is reportedly instructed to, quote, verbally antagonize Punk in a promo. September 12th, 2023, Nemeth files a formal complaint with AEW executives outlining the alleged abuse and harassment. Nemeth claims that Punk's alleged behavior created a hostile work environment, that AEW failed to adequately address Nemeth's concerns and protect him from further harassment. He was pressured to antagonize Punk in a promo, potentially escalating the situation. AEW's lack of action contributed to his eventual departure from the company. Of course, AEW has yet to comment. That is the claims laid out by Ryan Nemeth. Now let's critique these claims. We don't know what happened before April 16th, but we assume that there was some kind of confrontation. Sometimes people pick on each other for no reason, but these are adult men. There's probably something that happened, before April 16th, and Ryan Nemeth chose to leave that out. Now, how do I know that? Well, because on June 16th, which was 5 days before he was reportedly threatened by Punk in a locker room, Punk made his return to Collision, and he said that certain wrestlers were soft. In response to that, Ryan Nemeth, who is friends with the Young Bucks, by the way, in a tweet called Punk literally the softest man alive. Now, since then, he has decided he was going to explain that tweet. In March of 2024, talking to Sportskeeda, Ryan Nemeth said, quote, there are some things I can talk about and some things I can't talk about. I can very happily tell you about my tweet. The top guy on the TV show was missing for 8 months due to what I was told was a triceps injury. On his very first night back, he, in character, called someone else soft. I thought, well, I'm a heel. This is a babyface. We both work for the same wrestling company. He then gets injured more than anyone who has ever wrestled, and on his very first night back, in character, called someone else soft. I thought, what else am I supposed to do? I, of course, must respond to this, in character, and I did. Anything beyond that, I'm probably not safely able to talk about at this time. I think that's a very reasonable thing for a bad guy heel to say in response to a heroic babyface who seemed to be a little hypocritical. Do you smell the bullshit in the air, or is it just me? I know my nose is a little stopped up, but even I can smell this. You two guys are not working together, and you're not friends. In fact, when you made that tweet, you had already went to AEW Legal and complained that CM Punk was targeting you. Again, this was supposedly had happened in April. So you thought, oh, I'm going to play with him in June after you already well, I can't say you filed a complaint, but you made Mega Parek aware that there was an issue between you and CM Punk in April. And now here it is in June 16th to be exact. And you decide, I'm going to tweet at this guy, calling him literally the softest man alive. And then claim it was in character. Bull fucking shit. Bullshit. So 5 days after Ryan Nemeth put out that stupid tweet where he calls CM Punk literally the softest man alive, while Punk is cutting a promo on Collision calling the Young Bucks soft, 5 days later, Punk shows up to a Dynamite in Chicago. It's June 21st. And the two of them get into an argument backstage. Now, he puts this as Punk threatened him in the locker room. Now, of course, the CM Punk issue is a tight one because everybody has their own opinion. TJR Wrestling says, quote, this is the headline, CM Punk confronted Ryan Nemeth in AEW, quote, like a madman, from August 18th, 2023. He says, a new account of Punk's argument with Ryan Nemeth was published in a Wrestling Observer newsletter. The account begins with Punk approaching Nemeth while Nemeth was against a wall on June 21st, displaying the tweet that angered him and told Nemeth, do we have a problem? Or are we good? Or do we have to take it outside? Oh my God. By the way, CM Punk cannot fight. So these guys, somebody's the softest man alive in this situation. And whoever is filing the complaints, I'm thinking of the guys that's soft, right? So back to the article. One phrase used to describe the behavior was, quote, ranting like a madman. Another source spoke to that defended the world champion that Punk was, quote, handling business like a man and that all was taken care of and things were settled. Despite the issue not being settled, it was decided to keep it quiet on the matter and no matter would it look bad on Nemeth. It says the Nemeth continued into the hallway with Nemeth's defense being that his behavior was on-screen character of being antagonistic and Punk is the returning babyface. Punk saw this differently, saying to Nemeth that this, quote, wasn't the time for this shit. The pair would shake hands, but Nemeth was not booked for a TV appearance since. Again, this was in August of 2023. Nemeth was still wrestling there in November of 2023. By the by. But this is right after Brawl Out. Punk just came back from fighting the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega backstage at Brawl Out. And Ryan Nemeth, who is friends with the Young Bucks, because he was on Being the Elite numerous times, tweets out some bullshit at CM Punk. And then was like, oh, no, I'm a good boy, bro. Look at all my merit badges. I'm a Boy Scout. I didn't do nothing. Punk just picking on me for no good reason. Bullshit. So let's go to August 12th, 2023, according to Ryan Nemeth. After a 2-month absence from AEW programming, Nemeth is booked for a show, but is then asked to leave at Punk's behest. Now, F4W Online, which is the Wrestling Observer newsletter, they actually went into a little bit of detail about why he was kicked out. So, from August the 14th, 2023, Nick Houseman of House of Wrestling says, quote, Punk is looking to keep drama out of the Collision locker room, which is where the Nemeth tweet comes into the equation. PW Torch's Wade Keller also wrote that Punk is trying to keep things harmonious on Saturdays as he is fiercely protective of Collision being a low-drama environment, which is why he doesn't want wrestlers he perceives as disloyal or too closely aligned with the Elite to be backstage at Collision. They talk about the softest man alive tweet, and then they start talking about the different stories. It says the Torch reported Punk, quote, aggressively and angrily confronted Nemeth while getting right in his face and asking if they needed to step outside. The awkward and weird conversation moved from a locker room to a hallway where the talk continued. Nemeth felt Punk was the one who fired the first shot with his counterfeit Bucks line in his return promo. while Punk's issue was how the tweet added to the existing perceptions of problems between himself and the Young Bucks. Nemeth questioned whether he should comment on anything Punk says on AEW TV, to which Punk suggested that he shouldn't, which is correct. Mind your business. It then says House of Wrestling's report was that Punk asked Nemeth to, quote, call him soft to his face, which Nemeth declined to do. Punk said he felt Nemeth's tweet was to try to gain favor with the Young Bucks for more TV time. The report had them agree no violence was necessary, with Punk asking Nemeth to, quote, stop tweeting negative things so everyone could start moving on from the negativity. So that's the report from the August incident. So this guy runs to HR after, being buddies with the Young Bucks and causing problems. Look, this guy is not that big of he's not that important, for God's sake. He's literally not that important. And he's in the middle of all of this drama without being an important figure into the drama. So he says August 16th, he was asked to antagonize Punk verbally in a promo. He doesn't say by who. I believe somebody else who covered this, F4W Online. Let's see what they have to say about this. It says, after calling Parekh again and requesting AEW do something, Nemeth said he was flown down to Wednesday, August 16th Dynamite to cut a promo in front of the live crowd where he would, quote, verbally antagonize Punk. He then met with both AEW HR and legal on the same day and was unsatisfied with their response. He said he was one of the people that spoke to outside counsel as part of the investigation AEW launched after Punk and Jax Perry's backstage fight before All In. So, what it sounds like is somebody in his friend group asked him to ride or die for the group and go out there and take one for the team. One for the micker, as they say. Go out there, cut a promo, say something bad about Punk. This is during the brand split time, though. And again, he's friends with the Young Bucks. So he's probably looking like these guys are trying to set him up. In other words, this guy he's a crybaby, all right? He's a crybully. Now, I don't think that CM Punk is the greatest guy in the world, man. But when you're dealing with a bunch of guys who are running to human resources, they're talking shit about you, but nobody wants to fight you. There's constant running to human resources. They're running to journalists. They're acting like little girls. That's very frustrating. I've said this before, like, it's easy for two men to get along with the threat of violence being there. I think that's one of the things that you learn about, dealing with guys. There's always the threat of you getting punched in the face. But dealing with girls is far more frustrating because you're socially taught that you can't put your hands on them. And then they'll turn around and gossip and relationship savage you to death. They'll spread all kinds of gossip about you. They'll call the cops on you. They'll call your boss. They'll tell your mom. They'll tell whatever. And the story don't have to be true. It can be half true or whatever. And whenever people do these human resources snitch things, it's almost always, I was a good guy. I was a good little Boy Scout. I did do nothing wrong. Look at all my merit badges. I did nothing. They're bullying me. They're picking on me. And then he decided to add this little tidbit to the story as well. Nemeth says AEW sidelined him, ignored creative pitches, and failed to take action despite his repeated complaints. Here's the thing. CM Punk was fired September the 2nd, 2023. Nick Nemeth was still in the company in November, for starters. Secondly, he filed his formal complaint on September the 12th. Punk was already gone. He was gone 10 days before Nick Nemeth decided to file a formal complaint. I wonder what took him so long. Nick Nemeth's contract expired March 2024. It says following his last AEW appearance in November 2023, AEW offered him a settlement tied to an NDA, which was later withdrawn. Nemeth, who sought mental health support over the ordeal, is advocating for policy changes and financial compensation. Oh, look, he's the good guy. He's the baby face in all of this, guys. He just wants some policy change and some financial compensation, of course. Now, in the F4W Online tidbit, it says, quote, the report stated that Chris Peck of AEW's legal team reached out to work out a settlement for approximately 3 years' salary in exchange for an NDA, following the submission of the timeline, assumed to be in September 2023, while he was still with the company. Nemeth said he was interested and wanted to discuss it before being told it was being pulled off the table for reasons that were unclear. He also claimed Peck, who took over for Perek along with Margaret Stalvey, threatened to sue him about the timeline at one point, and that Peck said he would be placed in an antagonistic position to Mega if that situation went to arbitration. Because if you sue the company, this person who you said repeatedly was supportive is going to defend the company because that's what her job is. This is why human resources is not what you think it is. Human resources is to protect the company, not the quote-unquote employees, which these people are not employees. These people are independent contractors, except CM Punk, who has some kind of employee contract. Look, CM Punk can't fight. Ryan Nemeth, you had a chance. All this namby-pamby, run into human resources stuff, I don't respect it between men. You know? I don't respect it. If a guy confronted you and gave you the opportunity to throw a punch and you didn't do it, it means you didn't have a problem with the man. If you were scared of him, you should have just stayed your ass at home. You know? I don't get this stuff. I don't get how these guys work in a very physical business and are scared of confrontation. What happened to this business? For God's sake, all these dudes are so fucking soft. And, you know, look, I know that everybody's making fun of Punk because he let a tweet spin him out of control like this, which is true. You know, you can't let nobody control you like that. At the same time, though, you're dealing with multiple of these people. You're playing whack-a-mole with this shit. This guy over here is doing little stuff here and there, being passive-aggressive, talking shit, leaking stuff to the internet. This guy over here is running the human resources. Every time you look at him wrong, they're tweeting shit at you. They're making fun of you at matches. But if you say or do anything, you're a bully. Who wants to work in that kind of environment? Now you see why the guy blew up and said that he's tired, he's old, he's working with fucking children. It's a fact, man. Ryan Nemeth is 40 years old. He's the same age as me. This guy has been bullied in 2 different companies. He's soft. All right? He's literally the softest man alive. We found him. This is ridiculous, man. This is all just stupid shit. But I don't take anything seriously if people don't own up to their own responsibilities and to be accountable for themselves. If he'd have manned up and said, maybe the tweet was in bad taste, maybe due to my friendship with the Young Bucks, I shouldn't have made that joke, and that caused all this problems. Hey, I should have apologized to him or whatever. He took it the wrong way, and we never got over it. That'd have been something where I'd have been like, okay, well, at least he admitted his part of the issue. But now I'm looking at this timeline and saying to myself, bro, you probably full of shit. All right? You did something for this guy to start targeting you. Because everything else in here comes from you saying or doing something or being friendly with these people. Now, AEW mismanaged the situation, but what you want them to do? You want them to fire their top star because some jabroni from Ring of Honor is complaining? Is that really what people think is going to happen here? Oh, AEW, you look so bad for not... You want them to fire their top star because a jabroni from Ring of Honor is complaining? Nobody's going to do that. Nobody's going to fire Hulk Hogan, their version of Hulk Hogan, because Iron Mike Sharp is complaining. Who gives a fuck? The guy who's feeding everybody, the guy who's selling the tickets, the guy who's drawing the ratings, the guy who you gave an entire show is the star of the show. Anybody who has got a problem with him, stay away from him. Or if you low enough on the totem pole, take your bitch ass home. That's how you handle this situation. That's how it's handled in the NFL. That's how it's handled in the NBA. That's how it's handled anywhere. You can't be some nigga on the bench complaining about LeBron James or Kobe Bryant and think he's going to get kicked off the team. No, you're going to get kicked off the team. And every single person listening to the sound of my voice is going to be like, yeah, I wouldn't kick Kobe Bryant off the team because somebody's complaining. Who cares? He's scoring the points. He's drawing the tickets. He gets to make the goddamn some of the rules. Some of them. He can't be in complete control. But he's going to get some leeway. And CM Punk, whether you like him or not, was the biggest star AEW had. And they treated him like it. And Ryan Nemeth was lucky to have a job. Literally, what is his talent other than being Dolph Ziggler's brother? This is ridiculous. It's all stupid. It's corny. It's stupid. It's childish. It's girly. And I'm tired of hearing about this shit. I'm tired of these dudes talking about they run into journalists and HR. This shit is whack. Hit somebody in the face if you're mad enough. I'm tired of all these people talking about how AEW should have done something. What do you want them to do? What do you want them to do? They gave CM Punk his own show. This fucking guy is tweeting about CM Punk after you've done the brand split already. You've already given the guy his own show. And these people are still bothering him. What more can you do? This seems to me like he was just out for money. And, he might be hurting. He works for TNA now. He's probably getting paid in t-shirts. He can't sell any, And I guess Dolph is tired of him sleeping on his couch. So, you got to do something. Go sue somebody. Like, share, subscribe. I'll talk to you guys later.
Old non-aggression. Once that lesson sets in, you see a session. But you got an affection for no progression. Regression. The best don't